Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. We're going to be talking all about fall eyeshadow palettes. I am really excited for this video because fall is like my jam. It's like my spirit season. So if you guys like unfiltered makeup opinions and not sponsored reviews, hit the subscribe button and let's get on into this video. I have a stack of eyeshadow palettes that I wanted to go through today. These are my loved fall palettes and they're pretty, I find it kind of funny because all of these, besides like two, they all have like orange packaging. So like, can you tell there's a theme there? So I wanted to go through, I am going to talk first about the ones that you can still purchase right now on whatever website, whatever beauty brand that they are. And then we're going to talk about the ones that are special collection, special edition releases that are in my personal collection, and also maybe they're in your collection as well. Let's start with the ones that are still available to purchase today. This is the first palette that I pulled out. I pull this out every single fall. This is the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. It comes with a dual-ended brush if you do happen to purchase this one. I don't know where my brush is, so it's actually not in here. Usually I like to keep them in here. But I love the color story of this palette. It's one of the like tried and true naked palettes, but this is a very warm tone palette. It gives you a lot of that spicy, pumpkin-y feel. Like whenever I think of fall, I think of like deep, rich, warm browns, those burnt oranges, the burnt reds, and this palette has all of that. And it's a very neutral, basic, everyday palette that you can purchase. As far as I know, you can still get this palette. It is the Caramel Brown from Huda Beauty. I enjoy this palette quite a bit actually. And this one, again, it reminds me of fall. Like look at the packaging, it's brown. Everything is brown. So this is the Caramel Brown palette. Again, those burnt, beautiful orangey tones. There's actually some golds in here, which is really beautiful as well. And then you have some lighter shades of these like caramel brown colors, which is more of like a yellowy brown. Huda Beauty's formula is stunning on the eye. Everything blends beautifully, seamlessly together. These little 9-pan palettes, they do retail for $29 on the Huda Beauty site. If you do go to her site during Black Friday, you can get some really good deals on some of her palettes, and she does run like sales like all the time. Okay, so I want to talk about some indie makeup brands. The first one is from the UK brand, Jolie Beauty. This is the Radiance palette. Comes with a full-size mirror, and then it has a beautiful variety of oranges, burnt reds. This is a very neutral palette with a little pop of color, and it also has some beautiful glitters in it as well. Now the glitters, they remind me of the Tati Beauty glitters, but actually they're way, way better. And then it also has kind of like a creamish shade in here. And this is so stunning on the eyes. It literally feels wet to the touch. It kind of reminds me of the Colourpop Super Shock shadows because of that wet formula. But when it goes on, it almost looks like it's dusted gold. So it's definitely a unique formula and a unique shade, and it really reminds me of like dusted on gold. So if you wanted to do a really dramatic look with like something looks like it's dusted on with like gold reflex, not glitter, then this palette is for you. This is again the Jolie Beauty Radiance palette. They released this a couple of years ago, but it's just so stunning. The packaging is like glittery. The packaging actually reminds me of the Sultry palette from ABH with the glitter. It is so beautiful. So if you guys haven't tried Jolie Beauty, the formula is really, really nice, really easy to work with, very beginner friendly as well. And that's a really decent like neutral palette that can take you very, very many places. We have this indie brand. I've actually Never talked about them before ever on my channel, but I have the Dawn of Fall palette from ItsBel Cosmetics. Now this is a completely shimmer formula, but it's not shimmers, they're duochromes, and they are beautiful. This is a 9-pan palette from ItsBel. It was limited edition and it is called Dawn of Fall, so it's literally themed for fall. But these shades in here are rich, pigmented, beautiful. Pairing it with one of these like more neutral palettes, you could create the most beautiful eyeshadow looks for fall. This is one of my favorite palettes. If you have the Dawn of Fall palette, I do suggest you go pull it out. It is one of the best qualities from an indie makeup brand. It is beautiful. It has some great shades in here, great shade names like Boo and like Fall Sunset, Autumn, Riverside. That one's actually one of my favorites. If you pair it with a neutral palette, like you are good to go with these. And then kind of diving more into not so neutral, but more like it has some color in it. I do have the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice, not pumpkin pie, what am I doing? This is the first release of the pumpkin spice. It's in the tin packaging. Like this is their like OG tin packaging. And this was released 2 years ago. It still smells like pumpkin pie. It actually kind of smells like whipped cream. But this has a very, oh, it's a beautiful formula. I love every single shade in this. Like if you can't tell, I have used, loved, swatched this a lot. I love the combination of the pinks, the purples, the yellows, the browns, and the greens. Like this is the perfect fall palette. It's not available anymore. You might be able to find it on like Poshmark if somebody is selling it, but it's a gorgeous palette. If you have this one, bring it out, play with it. It is like the perfect like definition of a fall palette. And then also talking about, this is one that's not sold anymore, but I had to bring it out because every single time I bring out my pumpkin spice one, I usually bring out this one too. It's the At Forest Colourpop palette with RawBeautyKristi. I call this the RBK Colourpop one. And my friend was like, what are you talking about? What's RBK? And I was like, RawBeautyKristi. So this is At Forest. So Kristi specifically designed this with 2 foil shades. One's actually a duochrome and the rest of these are matte in here. And you can create some like super dimensional looks with this palette. And then she had Super Shocks that actually went with it too. So you can actually use just a matte look with the Super Shocks over it. And it is a nice palette, not one of my favorites, but it is one that I usually bring out during the fall time. I have found that the formula is a little bit finicky to work with some of the shades that Colourpop usually doesn't make so much of, which is like the greens, and some of the purples were a little bit hard to work with. But this is a really gorgeous palette. This was limited edition. I don't think you can find it anywhere. At one point you were able to do the restock and purchase this one, but it is a really good fall palette. Saving the best palette for last. This one's more like Halloweenish themed, and I didn't pull out the other one of this one. Maybe I should. The color story is fun of that one. That's very true. But this is the other like tried and true, more like a Halloween palette. And if you haven't guessed it already, it is the Colourpop Hocus Pocus collaboration. This one was a limited edition launch from Colourpop, completely all about the Sanderson sisters and everything having to do with Hocus Pocus. I love this. This palette is so pretty. A lot of the shades in here are very similar to the RawBeautyKristi palette though, so keep that in mind. If you actually look, some of them are dupes for one another. Now, I mean, Hocus Pocus doesn't have those bright, like, green shades in here, but it does have the black. It does have some of those purpley, pinky undertone shades. So you do have a lot of the same, like, feel with this one as what you do with the RawBeautyKristi one. It does come with a pressed glitter in this one, so you can go more over the top. You can do a little bit less dramatic. It does have some really great neutrals in here, so you can do a more easy everyday look as well. But I do love this palette because it just reminds me of like Halloween, the Sanderson sisters. It reminds me of the leaves changing you know, fall is coming, Thanksgiving, like I'm gonna stuff my face with turkey. And I wanted to also point out that the color story between Pumpkin Spice and RawBeautyKristi is very similar as well. So a lot of the reddy pinky shades and the some of the brown shades in here are very, very similar, and the yellow shade. I did do a swatch comparison when I got the RawBeautyKristi palette, and I did it versus the Pumpkin Spice palette, and these released at the same time back in 2020, and their color stories are very similar. So if you don't have one or the other of these, you can create a very similar look with both palettes. All you would really need if you have Pumpkin Spice is some of those like blue tones in here, but this literally has the same color story. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you guys like this video. Leave me a comment in the section down below, like what are some of your favorite fall palettes? Did you like some of the selections of mine? These are like my tried true favorite palettes that I like to bring out for fall, and some of them are indie brands, some of them are discontinued, but if you have these in your collection, dust them off, bring them out, and enjoy them for the fall season. I hope you guys like this video. Subscribe if you would like to see more, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. And these little I would do that. She specifically designed this to go along with the Super Shock shades that, I can't talk.